Tamba was standing in front of the bathroom mirror this morning, admiring his reflection. And then he posed a question to Zodwa, his wife of 30 years. Will you still love me when I'm old, fat, and balding? Asked Tamba. And Zodwa answered, I do. Good evening and welcome to Talk with Rams Live. And thank you very much for choosing to join us. This is the most powerful 30 minutes of digital content you can ever find. And I say that without fear of contradiction. We are on Facebook Live and IG Live. You can also find us on YouTube. All platforms is Talk with Rams, and it's very easy to find us. Now, welcome to Motivation Monday. As usual, nothing is different, as demanded by you, as expected of us. We have our resident personal development coach, international speaker and author, Dr. Thando Sibanda, joining us. And tonight we focus on building a big picture for your life so that you can achieve the goals that Dr. T spoke about last week. Now, before I even welcome Dr. T and speak to him, please go fetch a notebook and pen. Dr. T and I will have a little chit chat waiting for you to do so that you're ready. Because tonight, he says, you need to have notes because your life changes tonight. The 27th of July, 2020 is the day your life changes. Grab that notebook. See you in 30 seconds. Dr. T, good evening, and thank you so much for joining me again.
Good evening, my brother. I've been looking forward to this day. I'm very, very happy to be here. How are you doing tonight?
I am dark and lovely, my brother. Thank you so much. How are you?
No, I'm super, my bro. I'm super, man.
No, Dr. T, I don't, and I hope, of course, I never get to attend your funeral. I hope you attend mine. But I don't want to say this when you're gone. But I truly appreciate your contribution to this platform. You know, I want people to know that you had an international webinar today, and you told your compatriots and guests and your people who pay you that they have to release you to be on this show tonight. And this is not the first time you're doing that. I truly appreciate it.
You know, thank you. I really value what we do here. You know, and diamonds are always found rough. You know, if you don't have the patience to polish the rough diamonds, you will never really appreciate the shiny ones. Because every shiny diamond is a result of a rough one. So the process of really polishing, the diamonds is very important. It's something we need to commit to.
Wow, I've been polishing this rough diamond called Freddy. It's not easy, Dr. T. I'm working hard on polishing that diamond, but I'm gonna get there. Be patient with me. I'm gonna get there. You know, one day it's gonna be a shiny diamond that we all love. Dr. T, I think they all got their paper and pen now, and okay. Those that write on their tablets, they're ready. So we're gonna get going and talk about the big picture thinking. What is that, Dr. T, and why is it important?
Right. Look, big picture thinking is really about creating this framework for your life where you understand in big strokes where you are going. You know, it's important for everyone to really stop and ask this question: where am I going? So big picture thinking is where you are able to look really into the future of your life and determine a certain direction in terms of who you are becoming and what that looks like. You know, and I say that's very important, Rams, because a lot of people today live life pushed by what I call the moment. We live life pushed by the day. You know, we wake up, we are always running, taking care of this, taking care of that, because there is what I call the tyranny of the urgent. There are some urgent things that need to be sorted out. And so our priority agenda never really envisions our dream in terms of who we want to become or where we want to get to, because we are living life from a response matrix, you know, instead of from a planning matrix. And so the challenge with this reactionary approach is that you are getting older, but you are always dealing with the hustle of the day, which does not necessarily speak the big picture of where you are going, you know. And so yeah, it's very important that we have that, and you know, just like how a GPS operates, you know, the fact that you know, you need to have a destination, or you know, a location, present location, future destination. Without that aspired destination of where you are going, it can never help you calculate the optimum route to get there.
You know, we spoke about this, I think, last week, Dr. T, and I made the metaphor that I never get into my car without knowing where I'm going. So that's what you're talking about, that GPS of life.
Yes, oh, absolutely, absolutely. You see, we do it for everything else. But the challenge is that we hardly ever do it for our own specific life. Where I sit as Dr. Tando and say, right, it's 2020 now. Where am I going? What do I want, you know, to achieve really? What kind of a picture am I creating for my life? That's always very important. Because if we stopped even for a second to think about that, believe me, the decisions we make in the moment will become very different. You see, the problem is that we sing songs like, you know, we've got tonight, who needs tomorrow, you know, live for the moment.
Dr. T, Dr. T, no, don't do this.
It's never futuristic.
No, don't do this, Dr. T. That's like in my top 10 of songs, that song. You know, oh man, what's that old man with the white beard? I mean,
that song says
Kenny Rogers.
Yes, Kenny Rogers. We've got tonight. It says,
you know,
it says, stop thinking about tomorrow. The moment is the real thing, right?
So if I was a con man, Dr. T,
yeah,
I would take a risk and try and plagiarize your work, because I think I spend so much time with you. I can even know that without a fail, you're gonna start talking about building blocks, aren't you?
Oh, of course. We've got to now think what are the building blocks that will help us to build this big picture for our lives. So that, you see, again, it's very important, especially for a lot of our people, because you can almost ask anyone, even up to the time that they finish matric, get university, what do you want to do? Where are you going? No, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. What do you want to do when you get to university? No, I'll cross that bridge when I get. I'll decide on the subject when I get there. You see, we are never futuristic, and because we're never futuristic, we never arrive anywhere. That's the challenge. So it's important for us to understand the frameworks and the building blocks that make it very possible for us to have what is called a destination framework. It's very, very critical, because these are the support pillars to your goal. This is even before you come up with your SMART goals. This is your internal processing matrix in operation before you start setting certain goals and engaging the external world, kind of thing.
So I need to ask myself what I want out of this life.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, the very first question that you have to ask is, where do I need to go? That's what I call the destination matrix. Where am I going? What do I want out of this life? You see, the things that a lot of people have not figured this out. I promise you, stop a lot of people and ask, what do you want out of this life? They'll ask, what? What are you talking about? You know, but you see, you've got to understand that you are not a face in the crowd. You are loaded with purpose, you know, and you have a direct concept of a big picture as it relates to your life. You know, Ram, some people don't even understand. And for me, it's very personal because I really want to talk about purpose in the next coming weeks. Because everyone who is born for a specific purpose. There is something we are born carrying. And I can prove that to you. You know, science tells us that actually up to 75 million, between 15 and 75 million seed is deposited by the male into the female in a time of intimacy. Now, just one push of seed from the men, rams, is enough to fill the entire country.
Wow.
And yet only one of the seed will fertilize the egg and show up as Freddy, as Tando, as Rams. The question is, why did you have to win a race against 75 million others to come and show up here just to be a face in the crowd, just to be pushed by the tyranny of the day, just to die without ever having turned the spotlight on what you carry? You see, that's why whenever I watch these movies, I don't know if you've seen movies like Troy and you've seen movies like, you know those Roman movies or those war movies, where there's always the guy on the horse, and then the rest of them are the nameless, faceless guys who run, and then their heads get cut off, and this and that. That cannot be your life. Where you are one of those faceless guys, you are the guy on the horse. And the guy on the horse has a calculated outcome of the battle as it is being fought. So you need to know, where am I going? What do I want out of this life? Where do I want to go? Remember, Diana Ross wrote that song. Do you know where you are going to? Do you like
where going to? Yes.
Yes. Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know? It's important that we have that matrix, that destination matrix. Everybody, the rich and the poor, we've got to have that matrix figured out.
How does that, Dr. T, how does it relate to where I am presently?
Right. You see, another building block is that once you are working on the context of figuring out where you want to go, you need to have what is called present location appreciation. Not present location frustration and depression, no. Present location appreciation, where you are honest with yourself and say, this is where I am. And with this, you know, I also want to just caution some of our people, because a lot of our people buy into this context of fake it till you make it kind of thing. No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's an honest appreciation of saying, you know what, this is where I am presently. I remember about 15 years ago, there was a colleague of mine who used to work for a newspaper company, one of the newspaper companies. And he said to me, you know what, my friend, I need to go back to school because I realize I have a lot of potential, but this is where I am. Yes, I've got this little position in the newspaper, but a company, but I'm gonna leave it and I will go back to school and do my master's and do my PhD and become a resource. You know, that man went back to school with a family, with a wife and 2 kids, went back and carried a satchel and went back to school, got a master's, worked even harder, it was like a 7-year journey, got a PhD. Today, he's one of the most revered people around. So my point is, he got his destination matrix sorted out. Then from there, he appreciated where he was. I've got a job, but I don't have qualifications, and qualifications will open doors. They will help me create value. But guess what? It's going to take me a long time to get there, but I better get going. And today, as we speak, he's a very high-ranking lecturer. You know, he's been teaching in some of Africa's top universities, and he's now a resource, you know, because he was able to do that. So to do that, you ask yourself some questions. Number one, where am I presently? Where am I? Be honest about yourself. Where am I? So that you're not competing with anybody else. You are running your own race in your own lane. Am I comfortable in my situation? Does it actually hurt enough to make me want to move?
It sounds to me, Dr. T, that your friend that you mentioned here, having determined what he wanted and where he was, he then also determined, it sounds to me, and you can help me here, he then seems like he determined how then he's going to get to where he wants to get to.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That is the third principle there. It's called the optimum path matrix, where you are saying this is where I am and this is where I want to go. But it's very critical to say what is the best route to get me there. Because
Yes.
unless we do that, Rams, you know, we will take detours. How do I get to where I need to go? What is the path of least resistance? How long will it take me to get there? What sacrifices am I willing to make now for my goal? What am I doing that is slowing my progress towards my goal? You see, now, once you start asking yourself those questions, you can very quickly help yourself figure out where you are and where you want to go. The other point, by the way, before we move to the next one that I wanted to mention was, was the fact that it's important for you to measure how uncomfortable you are with where you are. For example, story about you know, so you realize that sometimes we sit and we complain, but the pain needs to be hard enough to make us want to move towards our goal. That's very important.
But I heard something else earlier, Dr. T, and that's very important. I want to emphasize that you said in this matrix you determine the best pathway, not the quickest, not the easiest, the best.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The optimum path must be the best route. It's not necessarily, it may not be the quickest, it may not be the shortest, but it is what is the best route? How long will it take me? What's the path of least resistance? This is very important, by the way, because when you arrive at your destination, you see, for example, I can use, when I decided to go back to school, I knew that the path had to take me through a value process where I really add a lot of knowledge to myself. Because in my destination, I would have to coach others. So I could not go online and buy a certificate and be called just Dr. Tando.
Yes.
I could not just sleep during lectures and copy from others. Because when I arrive at my destination, I need to have so much value that when others are asking, I will be able to articulate clearly what they need to do. So that is a process that takes time. It's a process that takes application. So I chose the best route to say, you know what, it may take long, but guess what? It's gonna be worth it when I get there.
You know, Dr. T, this is very rare of you to give examples that I feel are personal without throwing shade. Normally when I feel personal, they throw in shade. This one is a beautiful one because it speaks to me and it doesn't throw shade. Interestingly, I was journaling yesterday and I wrote about this platform. And I said, there is somewhere where I wanted to get to. And in my past, I could not get there. I then had to determine what is the best way of getting there, a path of less resistance, where I can do it the way I want it, but the best way, but also knowing where I want to take it to. So I was reflecting on this platform and I was saying, this is exactly what I'm doing now. Because in my past, I could not achieve what I really wanted to achieve because it was not my path. Now I created it, it's my path. And now I hear what you're talking about when you talk about this matrix.
Oh, absolutely.
But here's the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Continue, Dr. T.
All right. I wanted to say the other important thing to understand there, a lot of people think when you are planning and when you are going for your goal, it's smooth sailing. It's not. That path involves a lot of sacrifice. And the sacrifices, need to be a part of your planning matrix, like a theory of change. You've got to put in the assumptions there, the positive assumptions, the negative assumptions. Guess what? You've got to make some certain sacrifices, and you need to define what sacrifices am I willing to make now for my goal. That's very, very critical. You know, because if you don't think about the sacrifices, when you are now required to pay the price, you will fail utterly because you are holding on to things that you should have understood that I'm going to have to let this go. I'm going to have to let this go. If I'm going to get to my goal, I've got to close these times, I've got to cause this, I've got to close these activities. You know, I got to lay off on the PlayStation, I've got to save a little bit more money. It means I can't look as great as I used to be, you know, buying outfits every week, doing my hair every week. Take some of that because that's my sacrifice and I will invest it back into me. So that sacrifice matrix is very critical because a lot of people give up on their goals because they plan the destination, but they don't actually think through the sacrifice matrix that needs to be in place for them to get there.
Do I need help from others, Dr. T?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's another pillar. Who has been there that I can learn from? See, now this is the point. Learning, the role of a coach and a mentor cannot be overstated, right? And I'll give you two examples. Anyone today who is something and who is doing something with their lives, I mean, in terms of achieving something, has a coach. Whether it's a Mike Tyson wanting to come back at 53 years old, he has a coach. Whether it's a Serena Williams, you know, wanting to get another Grand Slam, she's got a coach. When it's a Tiger Woods, you know, going after Jack Nicklaus's record, you know, he has a coach. My point is, you've got to find someone who can coach you or someone who can mentor you, someone who has been to that destination before. This is the point. It's like when you are thinking of going to war and you've got two generals. One general looks like a Greek model, you know, no sport, you know, looks perfect, the jaw, everything. And you know, it looks like, you know, Photoshop has done a good job, you know. And there's another general who's got some scars. Guy has a scar here, guy has a scar here. He walks with a limp. And you know you are going into a live war situation. Who do you choose? You see, who do you choose? So you choose the guy who has been to where you are going. Because number one, he knows the route, and you can tell that this guy has paid the price. He's made some mistakes, he's been in some life situations, he has paid the price. So, number one, having someone to speak into your life who has been there is very important. Number two, having the right person is very critical. A lot of us choose coaches who look like models who have never been into the battlefield to lead us to war. And then we get stuck together. You know, we both get in trouble together. That's very important. So it's important that choose well. Ask yourself, who do I become accountable to in this run to my goal? Who's gonna keep me in check? Who can call me anytime, and you give them the rights to call you out? Because we're living in a day and age where nobody wants to be told to do anything. No, you can't tell me this. You can't tell me that. Yeah. You can't tell me to wear a mask. You can't tell me to sanitize. You can't tell me to physical distance. We want to be, we want to turn on our own excesses. And that doesn't work. You need a mentor. You need someone you can learn from.
Before I ask you my final question, Dr. T, I need to, you know, also acknowledge, by the way, you know, guys who are very loyal to us on our platform, and you know, these guys watch, they especially those who engage us. I mean, I know a lot of people watch, and I'm not speaking for of those who don't engage, but you know, a platform without engagement sometimes makes us feel like, are we on the right path? So I truly appreciate those that engage, because then they say, we see you, we hear you, we appreciate it. So Notebook of Vicky Jagavula, thank you so much. She says, I truly appreciate Dr. Tando's valuable contribution. So Hazel Mushidi is there. She says, very interesting. Swati Rankiri says, poor Freddy. You know, they mentioning the rough diamond part, but we're going to get to that. And she says, Dr. T is on another level today. Donald says, interesting indeed. How Hengwi gives us a thumbs up. I'll get to pull us a comment later because it's a question. And then on Instagram, we've got Benny Mafaisa, who also has a comment. And the comment says, self-appreciation is one of the components that assist you to position your, or to be positioned in your purpose. We've got one of our coaches, Coach Tammy, also in the game, and he remembered Kenny Rogers. Clearly, he's in our league, Dr. T. He remembers people like that. It's great. Rossi was the first to join us on Instagram. Thank you very much for that. So here's a question before we get to my question.
Right.
Ula has a question for you, Dr. T. I've got my answer for him, and I'm going to give my answer first. You give yours next.
Okay.
He says, why is it that all super rich people are not super educated with PhDs and? So, Pula, here's my answer. Do you know who sits underneath those people? Is the PhDs and. All those guys that work for Mark Zuckerberg and for Bill Gates and for all those guys that you're thinking about, below Zuckerberg, there are PhDs, the creators, the technicians. So that's my answer. So don't ever think that those guys don't value education. They actually value it a lot. They buy it. They buy the smartest guys and they put them in their organization. Dr. T, your turn to answer that question.
So well put. So well put. You see, those guys are the guys that run the R&Ds. You see, the educated guys, they remember, if you are going to put a product out there or you're going to put an opinion out there, it is so thoroughly researched, especially if it's going to move destinies and market. It's so thoroughly researched, but it's the very highly qualified people that do and ratify the research. And then the guy at the top then can articulate it with certainty, because there is a very solid backing under them. The point is that, you see, you will only have so many, they are called the innovators, right? When you look at what is called the bell curve, they are innovators. Innovators are only 1 or 2% at most. So the innovators, those are your Elon Musk, those are your Mark Zuckerbergs, those are your Steve Jobs, your Tim Cooks, the guys who come up with, who really sit at the top, your entrepreneurs, these guys who are top level. And then you've got what I call your early adopters. These are the people that catch on, and then of course there it goes to the belly of the curve where everyone else is, and then you've got the laggards, the guys who come last. But the point is that you need to have all these educated guys backing it up. They may not be spotlight people, but believe me, they are very essential. And a lot of them are quite okay. They're quite okay.
So one last point, Pula, before I move to my last question to Dr. T. Do you know why you are currently watching Talk with Friends? It's not about me, it's about Dr. T. See, I've got the PhDs to back me up. That's how it works. And you're thinking, why is Ram so successful? Because I've got my PhD called Dr. T out there. See, that's how it works, mate.
That's wisdom. It works. You're an innovator.
Dr. T, so
yes, sir.
I've heard the 4 building blocks, but my question is, what do I do today? When I finish with you now, we've asked everybody to take pen and paper. What do they do when we put the phone down, when we close this session?
Rams, thank you so much for that question. Because always the last building block is the action step. Now, after you answered, look, your present location matrix, your aspired destination matrix, your optimum path level, your mentorship matrix, and you've got these things in place, it's critical, right, to then bring in this SMART concept, the whole thing about SMART goals, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Those fit in because I'm going to take the first step today. What am I going to do today in the direction of my dreams? Because Rams, the biggest thing, believe me, a lot of guys have got ideas to become millionaires and billionaires, but a lot of them never started.
Yes.
That is why, Rams, the richest place on this earth, as Dr. Miles used to say, is not the oil wells of the Middle East or the diamond mines of Angola or the gold mines of South Africa. The richest place on this platform is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, there are poems that were never spoken. There are books that were never written. There are companies that were never opened. You know, there are great movements that never saw the light of day because they died as ideas in people's heads. These what they were carrying because they didn't want to take the first step. That is why that sacrifice matrix is so important, because after all is said and done, someone needs to leave this meeting tonight and go and take a step before they go to sleep. They need to go and say, you know what, I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Someone from here will go sit on their laptop and write that book that they've been telling everyone for the last 5 years that they are writing. They need to get going. They need to start. Unless you start, you can never finish.
And
you can never finish. And so, yeah. So when all this is done, everybody who's listening to us tonight needs to go and start something. Just go start.
Okay, Dr. T, you again don't have to get personal about books and stuff. But anyway, Dr. T. So I'm gonna help those who are listening to us now, who are viewing us now.
Right.
But it's not always easy. And you know, Benny Mafaisa also says finding the right coach is very challenging, and I agree with him. So, folks, we have a solution. So when I invited
he's a good man.
Yeah. When I invited Dr. T last year, when I started this platform, and at the time it was once a week, we then had a chat that we're going to have a seminar, a coaching seminar for people. And of course, then we got hit by COVID at the beginning of this year. So we decided we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to have a virtual seminar, either on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, whatever platform we choose, a webinar, and we're going to have live coaching. So if you, Benny, so you can then get a coach. It will be, of course, with other people in the room, at least virtually speaking. But we want to start a process where we go beyond this 30 minutes here, and we can really deal with a situation where you can ask your questions, do your planning, and you know, Dr. T coaches, and we go through a program over a period of time. So I'm putting it out there, guys. Watch out. We're going to be giving details by the end of this week. This is happening at the beginning of next month, which is like at the end of this week. So the seminars are going to be happening offline. They're not going to be happening on this platform. And there's going to be an entrance fee. You know, at the door to greatness, there is always an entrance fee. It won't be blocking you. Don't worry. That entrance fee is so minimalistic. You could buy popcorn with it, but you have to commit. It's a commitment fee. So I hope you join us. Dr. T and I are going to put together the program, and we're going to announce it to you by the end of this week. The Rough Diamond will put it together. You know, Mr. Freddy, he's going to put it together in very beautiful stuff, and then we post it to you. Then you join. Then we go on this journey. Hopefully, we run the journey until the end of the year. Then we can renew and see how we continue next year. Now we run it as a full 5-month program, and all of us can then find that bigger picture and become better people. Are we good? Are we all coming in? Raise your hands. Okay, I can see them there. Excellent. Dr. T, I know I have just committed you to something that we didn't even speak about, but we can't turn around now and say, no, you are public. Everybody's listening to us.
No, man, let's do it. It's very important. It's very critical. And as we said, there is no bigger investment than investing in yourself. That's one. And two, finding the right coach, finding the right team to run the race with. A lot of guys who were gifted finished in the village. They were more gifted than the Messis and the Ronaldos and all the guys who are playing in the Super Leagues. But because they didn't have the right mentors, the right connections, and people who could help them really work in the fullness of their potential, you know, they died as village champions. So we want to raise international champions. Let's run with the people and let's help them really get deep into who they are and how they are gifted. I look forward to that, friends.
Excellent. Thank you for agreeing, Dr. T. And in the meantime, folks, do get yourself a copy of the Winning Mindset. It's 50% discounted through this platform. Just subscribe to our YouTube page, Talk with Rams. Take a screenshot of that, send it to admin@talkwithrams.com, and Dr. T will gladly give you a 50% discount on that. I know some of you have been saying, but I sent it a while ago. Dr. T has been dealing with his admin. He promised me that he's going to be attending to that. So for those of you who've responded, your books are on the way and your winning mindset is going to be turned on right away. Have a good evening, Dr. T.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother. Awesome.
Thank you. So, and thank you very much, folks, all of you for joining us. Thank you so much for your loyalty. We truly, truly appreciate it. Without you, this platform is completely non-existent. Thank you very much, Freddie, the rough diamond that's about to become the sharpest and smartest and biggest and shiniest diamond out there. Tomorrow is Opportunity Tuesday, but an amazing story of not a diamond, but an engineering firm in the quickie. And then we have a story of an entrepreneur who's had a dream for 10 years and finally make it true. And he's got an opportunity for you if you're in small business. Do join us 7:30 p.m. here on Talk with Rams Live. From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.